Atomic Habits. 1. The story behind Atomic Habits. James Clear wasn't always a productivity guru. In fact, his own life was shaped by a catastrophic event early on. In high school, he was seriously injured in a baseball accident that caused him to miss a year of school. The impact of this injury and the long recovery process was a defining moment that later fueled his interest in how small, incremental changes can lead to significant improvement over time. After recovering, Clear became deeply interested in how habits can shape our outcomes. This interest led him to study habits for years, learning from behavioral science, neuroscience, and psychology. The turning point was when Clear realized that the most successful people didn't necessarily rely on massive, overwhelming changes to succeed. Instead, they made tiny adjustments in their daily routines, which he calls atomic habits. The idea is that small, consistent changes, compounded over time, can lead to massive transformation. 2. Why James Clear wrote Atomic Habits. Clear was frustrated with the conventional advice about how to build habits. Most self-help books or productivity gurus focus on willpower or trying to crash diet habits. But he noticed that when people tried to implement grand changes overnight, they often failed, because lasting transformation requires more than willpower, it requires the right system. He wrote Atomic Habits to provide people with a clear, actionable framework to build habits that stick. His goal was to give people a strategy that anyone could apply, no matter their starting point. The book is deeply rooted in scientific research, but it's also practical, with easy-to-follow steps that readers can use right away. 3. The key concept, Atomic Habits. The title itself holds meaning. Atomic refers to the small size and powerful potential of habits, while habits refers to the systems we develop to achieve our goals. Clear argues that instead of focusing on one big goal, we should focus on the process and the small habits that compound over time to yield remarkable results. The core idea is that habits work in 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. Clear explains that by understanding how these stages function, we can intentionally design our environments and routines to create lasting change. 4. Notable details. Atomic Habits is a blend of personal experience, science, and storytelling. Clear doesn't just present theory, he shares stories of famous athletes, performers, and historical figures to show how tiny improvements led to extraordinary outcomes. The book was extremely well received. It has been on the New York Times best-seller list for years, and Clear's writing has appeared in major outlets like the New York Times, Time, and the Wall Street Journal. Clear's website and newsletter, which started as a personal project, also became hugely popular and laid the foundation for the book's success. 5. How Atomic Habits has impacted people's lives. The power of small wins. The biggest impact of the book is helping people realize that small, consistent changes lead to profound results. It has given people the ability to break down large, intimidating goals into manageable, bite-sized habits. Better productivity. Many readers have used Atomic Habits to increase their productivity. By focusing on small wins, like reading a page a day or writing for 10 minutes, they've experienced big shifts in their output. Personal growth. The book has become a go-to resource for people trying to build habits like exercising, dieting, or learning new skills. Instead of focusing on big goals, people focus on building systems of small habits that will gradually push them toward their larger objectives. Improved mental health. People also report feeling more in control of their lives and less overwhelmed. By focusing on small actions that are easy to commit to, people find they build momentum and confidence, which can be a huge boost to mental health. 6. Why people love it. One of the main reasons Atomic Habits resonates so deeply is because it's practical and actionable. It's not just another self-help book that promises success without providing any clear direction. James Clear gives his readers a step-by-step guide on how to improve their habits. There's no fluff, just real, usable advice that can be tailored to each person's unique life. Here are the topic names, chapter titles, from Atomic Habits. 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. 2. How your habits shape your identity, and vice versa. 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. 4. The first law, make it obvious. 5. The second law, make it attractive. 6. The third law, make it easy. 7. The fourth law, make it satisfying. 8. Advanced tactics, how to go from being merely good to being truly great. 9. The Goldilocks rule, why motivation is a myth. 10. How to break a bad habit. 11. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. 12. The plateau of latent potential. Summary of each chapter. 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. Key points. Atomic Habits. Clear introduces the concept of atomic habits, which are small, incremental changes in behavior that compound over time to produce big results. The compound effect. Clear uses the analogy of a plane flying from Los Angeles to New York City. Even a tiny shift in the plane's course would eventually lead it to a completely different destination. This is similar to how small habits, compounded over time, can change the trajectory of our lives. The importance of systems over goals. Clear emphasizes that focusing on systems, the daily habits you practice, is more effective than focusing on end goals. This is because systems allow for continuous improvement, whereas goals are often fixed and end after completion. Habit formation and transformation. Clear also explains that habits don't just shape your outcomes, they shape your identity. You're not just trying to achieve a goal, but to become a person who embodies the traits and behaviors you wish to adopt. 2. How your habits shape your identity, and vice versa. Key points. Identity-based habits. Clear introduces the concept of identity-based habits. Rather than focusing on outcomes, e.g., I want to lose weight, focus on becoming the type of person who aligns with that goal, e.g., I am someone who makes healthy choices. Identity and habits are linked. Our habits shape our identity, and our identity shapes our habits. Every action we take is a vote for the kind of person we believe ourselves to be. 2 layers of change. Clear explains that there are 2 layers to changing habits: outcomes, what you want to achieve, and identity, the type of person you wish to become. The deeper, more sustainable changes occur when we focus on the identity level. 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. Key points. The habit loop. Clear explains the 4 stages of habit formation: cue, craving, response, and reward. Understanding this loop helps you design good habits and break bad ones. Cue, the trigger that initiates the habit. Craving, the desire or feeling you associate with the habit. Response, the actual behavior or action you take. Reward, the positive outcome or feeling that reinforces the habit. This framework helps to understand why habits form and how to manipulate them for positive change. 4. The first law, make it obvious. Key points. Environmental design. To build new habits, Clear suggests you make the cues for those habits obvious and visible. This might involve setting up your environment to trigger desired behaviors. Habit stacking. Clear introduces the technique of habit stacking, where you attach a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. Implementation intentions. Creating specific plans, e.g., I will exercise at 7 a.m. in the living room, can help make cues more obvious and create a more consistent routine. 5. The second law, make it attractive. Key points. Temptation bundling. Clear introduces this technique, where you pair a habit you want to form with something you enjoy. For example, only allow yourself to watch your favorite TV show while exercising. Social influence. People tend to adopt the habits of those around them. Surrounding yourself with individuals who embody the habits you want to adopt can make the process more attractive. Motivation is not enough. Clear emphasizes that motivation alone is unreliable. The key is to make habits attractive enough that you want to do them, even on days when motivation is low. 6. The third law, make it easy. Key points. The 2-minute rule. Clear suggests that any habit should take no longer than 2 minutes to start. This makes the habit easy to begin and helps overcome resistance to starting. Reduce friction. To make a habit easy, reduce the steps required to perform it. For example, if you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow so that it's easy to pick up before bed. Automation. Automating good habits, like setting up automatic bill payments or using apps to track progress, helps remove the friction of decision-making. 7. The fourth law, make it satisfying. Key points. Immediate rewards. Clear emphasizes the importance of immediate satisfaction when forming habits. Habits are more likely to stick if there's a reward that reinforces them right away. Habit tracking, a visual reminder, like a calendar or app, can help reinforce the habit by giving immediate feedback. The satisfaction of crossing off a day can keep you motivated. Avoiding negative reinforcement, negative rewards, like guilt or shame, can erode motivation. Focus on positive, satisfying experiences that keep you coming back for more. 8. Advanced tactics. How to go from being merely good to being truly great. Key points. Mastery and consistency. Clear discusses how top performers in any field, whether it's sports, business, or art, don't just rely on natural talent. They master the basics and make continual, small improvements over time. The importance of deliberate practice. He encourages focusing on deliberate practice, which involves stretching beyond your current abilities in a targeted way to get better. The role of feedback. Continuous feedback loops are crucial to improvement. Constantly adjusting based on results keeps habits evolving and prevents stagnation. 9. The Goldilocks Rule, Why Motivation is a Myth. Key points. The sweet spot of motivation. The Goldilocks Rule states that we're most motivated when we are working on tasks that are at the sweet spot between too easy and too difficult. If a task is too easy, we get bored. If it's too hard, we give up. Optimal challenge. Clear explains that motivation increases when the task at hand feels just challenging enough to keep us engaged but not overwhelming. The power of small wins that are close enough to the current ability level can keep you moving forward and engaged in the process, sustaining long-term motivation. 10. How to break a bad habit. Key points. Inverting the 4 laws. To break a bad habit, you need to invert the 4 laws of behavior change. Instead of making cues obvious, make them invisible. Instead of making the habit attractive, make it unattractive. The inverse of the habit loop. Clear suggests making bad habits less satisfying and eliminating triggers. For example, if you want to stop smoking, avoid places where you usually smoke. Environment design. Just like with good habits, altering your environment can help reduce the chances of falling into bad habits. If unhealthy snacks are within reach, they'll be harder to avoid. 11. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. Key points. Talent is overrated. Clear argues that talent is not the deciding factor in success. Habits, systems, and consistent effort are far more important. Genes play a role, but are not destiny. While genetics can give you an initial advantage, they don't determine your potential. Success is shaped by continuous, deliberate practice and systems, not by raw talent alone. Environment overcomes talent. Clear emphasizes that the environment you place yourself in matters more than inherent abilities. Surrounding yourself with the right influences can help you develop the habits needed for success. 12. The plateau of latent potential. Key points. Delayed gratification. Clear discusses how improvement is often invisible at first. When you start a new habit, you may not see results immediately. The key is to persist, as growth often takes time to become visible. The plateau of latent potential. At the beginning of any habit, progress is slow. However, once you've built momentum, the results can feel exponential. This delayed feedback can be frustrating, but Clear stresses the importance of patience and persistence. Success is a process. The book ends with the reminder that the journey of building habits is a continuous process, and small improvements compound into significant achievements over time. Success is the sum of all these seemingly insignificant actions. That's the entire book in a nutshell. Each chapter provides clear, actionable steps for creating and maintaining habits, with the underlying message that small, consistent actions lead to big changes in the long run. Conclusion. In Atomic Habits, James Clear masterfully shows us that real transformation doesn't come from making radical, overnight changes but from building small, consistent habits that compound over time. The book emphasizes that success is not about willpower or motivation alone, but about creating systems that support lasting change. By focusing on tiny actions that are easy to start, Clear teaches us how to reshape our identity, make habits automatic, and even break bad ones with simple but effective strategies. Whether you're trying to improve your health, productivity, or personal growth, Atomic Habits gives you the tools to create lasting change in your life. It's a practical, science-backed guide that shows how small adjustments, when compounded over time, can lead to extraordinary results. In the end, Atomic Habits isn't just a book about habits, it's about mastering the art of continuous improvement. It's about getting 1% better each day and, over time, seeing massive transformation.